Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste, Didi.
Yeah.
Namaste.
And namaste to
Namaste to
everyone.
all.
Namaste. I see Sharmila Didi also. Arjun Bhaiya is also there, or Sharmila Didi is joined through the connection.
Namaste. Namaste to all.
Namaste, Arjun.
Namaste, Tara Prasanna Bhaiya.
Namaste to all.
Nice.
Manisha, Didi, you can start, Manisha. Didi, I think the students will be joining. So we can start
Ji.
the session.
Nice, nice. So, namaste to everyone. And it is good to see Sharmila Didi and Arjun Bhaiya back to the follow-up session. And as we can see that this follow-up session is related to the module 1 of student induction program, that is more to do with the UHV and related concepts and understanding. So and as I could see the view foil that we are going to take up and discuss harmony in society today, and our students also join in this particular session and equally interact. So we'll request all the students to be open to discuss their questions, their queries, or share their takeaways and anything they would like to talk and discuss about uh, as comfortably as they wish to. So with this, we'll take up the session forward and we'll welcome Arjun Bhaiya, Sharmila Didi, Tara Prasanna Bhaiya, Ila Didi, Priya Didi, and all to our weekly reunion, along with all our fellow participants. Ji. So Arjun, welcome back.
Welcome. Namaste. And we'll start then.
Namaste. Yes, yes. And how have you been, Arjun?
I am fine.
Nice. So the students were missing you a lot during this time.
Mm.
Yes. So over to you, Arjun. You can take the session forward, please.
Yeah. So, hello everyone. In this session, we'll talk about harmony in the society. So far, like we've seen that, we've explored this thing about our basic human aspiration, right? Like of continuous happiness and prosperity. Something which is an aspiration for all of us, and it's like a very basic thing which we can explore and see whether it's true for us or not. And this continuous happiness and prosperity makes us feel comfortable also and makes us feel in harmony. So then we just want to know what the program for fulfillment of that would be. And when we try to go into it more and more, we see that the more clear we are about things, the more it gives us satisfaction, and the more it gives us like the more understanding we have, the more easy it is to take the right decisions and to feel comfortable within. So therefore, it becomes important to understand harmony and live in harmony at all the 4 levels of our existence. So harmony in the human being and harmony in the family has been talked about. So right now we are talking about harmony in the society. So if anyone wants to share so far whatever their exploration, whatever their understanding, whatever their takeaways are so far from these sessions, then you can share that, and then after that we'll continue.
Ji. Nice, Arjun. I think some of our fellow friends who are here in this reunion, it will be nice if you would like to uh, uh, discuss or put forward any of your understanding of what you feel the society would be and how you want the society to be. Anything you can share right now, and we'll before we take the session forward, as Arjun Bhaiya said. there are some students also. It will be good to listen to them. Nandana, am I able to reach out to you? Well, I think I'm not able to like get to Nandana yet. If Lalita ji or Ruby ji or Ravin ji would like to put forward any of their understanding of whatever has been discussed till now, or anything you would like to share. Ji.
So,
Nice,
Didi,
Lalita
namaste.
ji. Namaste, Lalita ji. Please.
Namaste, Didi. I'm very happy to share. And I have seen Sharmila Didi during the South Western conference. I met her, and so nice experience I got during that time. And even Umesh Bhaiya was also there. And we discussed even about Arjun Bhaiya will give so many different concepts in detail like that. I asked even Sharmila Didi also, and very happy to be in the UHV family. I'm learning so many things from you peoples, and every day I'm exploring so nicely. Thank you, Didi. I'm in Mantralaya. So we are going for the darshan, so that's why I'll stop here. Thank you,
Ji.
Didi. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Ji. Ji. Nice. Nice, Didi. Thank you so much. So, Arjun, you know how I see the Ruby Didi. Would you like to share something?
Manisha
हाँ जी
Didi,
दीदी
just check.
नमस्ते
Didi, namaste. Just check. Arjun probably cannot hear us.
Now I
Acha,
can
acha.
hear. Now I can
Yes.
hear.
Okay. Is Arjun, is that fine now?
Yeah. Now it's fine.
Nice.
So
So Ruby Didi was saying something, Arjun. Maybe would
हाँ
you
जी
like
दीदी
to listen to Ruby Didi?
yeah, sure.
हाँ जी दीदी नमस्ते भैया नमस्ते
Namaste.
सभी को नमस्ते मैं ये SIP स्टूडेंट्स के अटेंड किए थे और फुल टाइम थी मैं और मैंने वॉलंटियरिंग किया था PPI के लिए
अच्छा.
तो मोहन भैया भी थे मेरे साथ मोहन भैया ने मुझे नंबर्स दिए थे कॉल करने के लिए पहले जो नंबर्स कॉल किए वो बहुत ही अच्छा रिप्लाई रहा उनका मतलब रिस्पांस बहुत अच्छा रहा दे लाइक्ड इट एंड दे वांटेड टू एक्सप्लोर मोर एंड they wanted to know कि what is human values and all that. They first time they were hearing all this. तो उनको बहुत ही अच्छा लग रहा था और सेकेंड डे जब कॉल किया तो किसी ने रिप्लाई नहीं किया फोन ही नहीं उठाया और एक खाली फीमेल ने बताया था कि वो नहीं जुड़ पाएंगी क्योंकि एग्जाम चल रहे हैं तो इतना
रूबी दीदी नमस्ते
जी नमस्ते भैया
This is a separate meeting, separate group, so we can talk about this particular meeting. जी
जी भैया
This is not the review meeting.
जी भैया नमस्ते भैया
Separate group, separate meeting. Yeah, we can talk the things here.
Ji.
Thank you.
Thank you, Parikshit Bhaiya. So, Ruby Didi, this is a follow-up meeting of the eSIP, the student induction program related activities.
हाँ जी हाँ जी हाँ जी
Ji. Thank you, Didi.
जी दीदी नमस्ते
So,
Yeah. Thank you.
like,
So
Arjun,
here
you know
actually,
how,
yeah.
So Arjun, you know how I see the things around that, something that comes to my comfort is not really all that around I see. I see a lot of chaos in the living of human beings in groups. So
Okay.
I think you'll be giving an idea of what the society is as a human is expected to be and how we can be there in a society in a harmonious way, isn't it?
Yeah, actually the reflection of whatever is happening inside comes outside also. So if we are harmonious inside, then the society will also be harmonious. And if we are in conflict sometimes and in harmony sometimes within, then the same will show up in society also. Because the way we act also outside depends on our state inside. Like, for example, if we are comfortable within, then there's no real scope of getting angry or getting upset or any kind of negative feeling coming out from us, like jealousy or any other kind of feeling coming out from us. And on the other hand, when we are in harmony within, then the feelings that come out are of the 9 feelings which we discussed, right? Those start coming out. The feelings of love, respect, gratitude, all these kind of feelings start coming out. So when those feelings come out, then automatically what we do outside in the world will be harmonious. So it all depends on what is happening inside. And the outside state is a collective reflection of a lot of people together and their inner state.
Rightly said, Arjun. So let's take our session forward. And it will be
Manisha Didi,
interesting
there
and
is
it will
a
be good to
message
listen
in
to.
the chat from a student,
Please.
Ansel. Can you,
Priya, go ahead. Go ahead, Priya ji.
Didi, can you read it? I'm not able.
Okay, I'll try to. I'll do the needful. Not to worry. I'll just take up the chat. Yes. So there's a nice big message. Sir, I'm myself Anzil Nazar from Kerala. It's my first session through Zoom, ma'am, but I'm having session taken by our sir at our college. This UHV sessions are an extraordinary one, ma'am. Each session makes us realize how we humans should be. And to me personally, I really feel more positive and energetic after each session. Oh, that's nice, Arjun. So I
Yeah, that's nice actually to hear. And I think it's happening because of what we just talked about, that when there's more clarity of thought and when um, we have more understanding about things, as we develop our understanding about the human being, the family, the society, and the whole nature and existence, then life within, like our feelings within, become more harmonious because we feel more comfortable within. And when we are more comfortable within, that makes us feel happy also, right? So happiness is to be in harmony, and being in harmony also, once we can understand and live in harmony, I mean, the first step would be probably like understanding harmony at all the 4 levels. And then through this process of self exploration, trying to merge the gap between the understanding and the living, so that it's not just in our memory and in theory, but also coming into our living. So that happens when we keep exploring the proposals and keep validating them on the basis um, of our own right, of our own natural acceptance. So if we follow this process, then we can see that we become more and more comfortable within. So as Mr. Anzil is mentioning, that it feels good because you feel more energetic and more something happens. So that's happening because of more and more clarity. So now we'll talk about um, the society. So just like the family is a building block of a few human beings, the society is the next building block, which is composed of many families living together. And right now, we may not see it as a group of families living together, making collective effort for a common goal. But if we really look at things, then if we just go back one slide, we can see that if you look in the society or the family or anyone, if you look at, you can just check whether their basic human aspiration is for continuous happiness and prosperity. And if it is a yes to that, then that means that there is a common goal for all of us, right? So if we see that the society is composed of many families living together, when we say living together also, what we mean is that we are in harmony with each other and collectively making an effort for the same thing, and the same thing being continuous happiness and prosperity. So if we are able to recognize that, then we look at society in a different way. We start looking at society as a group of families living together and also making effort for the same thing. So when we feel like a lot of people are making effort for the same thing and I'm also making effort for the same thing, then I might feel more related to them, right? So yeah, there was someone, I think, trying to say something. If you want to speak, you can speak also. So anyhow, so we look at the goal of the human being living in the society and the systems required to achieve this goal. When we look at the scope of the systems, as in how effective they can be and what they can do, how much impact they can make. So if we're talking about a family, then what would the goal of the family be? Like broadly, if we see, then our basic aspiration of every member in the family might still be of continuous happiness and prosperity, right? Or is there anything else? Or all the things which look like goals are a means to achieve that continuous happiness and prosperity? Like for example, if different people have different goals about their career, about their family, about different things, then if we look broadly, then that might be a means to a common goal of continuous happiness and prosperity, right? So this is something which we can explore. And when you look at people living together also, they might have different goals, but they're not able to see the common goal of this continuous happiness and prosperity. So this is scenario 2. And then scenario 3 is people living separately in opposition or struggle with each other. So that means there are conflicting goals and there's no clarity about the common goal of continuous happiness and prosperity. So in the first scenario, you have families living together, but their opinions may be different. And although their opinions and thoughts may be different, they still have the same goal, which is of continuous happiness. And they can recognize that although our opinions and thoughts may be different, we are still eventually trying to get to the same place. And in scenario 2, it is that we just are able to look at our goals in the short term or in a narrower perspective, where we're not able to see the relationship of mutual fulfillment between the people living together. And we feel like we all have different goals, we have our own life, and so on. So that is scenario 2. And scenario 3 again is that we are living all separately in opposition with each other. So that means we have goals which are totally different from each other, and that makes us very uncomfortable. So now the question is, what is desirable and where are we today? You can look at this question from the point of view of yourself also, the point of view of your family also, and the point of view of society also. Because society is just a collection of families, right? So you can just think about this for yourself and for your family and for society at large. You can think of what is desirable or what you want and where we are today. which is our competence. What is desirable is our intention, and where we are right now is our competence, right? So if we are in the first scenario, then we can call it society. If we are in the second scenario, then we can call it like a crowd, where you don't feel that related to each other, and you feel like we're just managing together, whether it be family or society. We just feel like we are just managing, or we are there. A lot of people are there, but we don't feel related to them. And the third is where we are in opposition, where we have a feeling of the opposite of love, like where we have a feeling of uncomfortableness, or a feeling of fear, or a feeling of jealousy, or a feeling that the other is trying to harm me. The other is not supporting me, but he's trying to harm me. In the second scenario, it's like we feel that we're not related to each other, but we are indifferent. We don't care about each other, but it's okay. We can manage. Uh, we can be together, but we don't have any. We don't feel related to each other. And the third is where we are in conflict with each other, and there is all kinds of feelings of fear, or feelings of any kind of negative feeling, like hatred could be there, or anything else. So that's the third scenario. So you can just see what is desirable for you, for your family, and for society, and where we are today. So the base of harmony in society is harmony in family, because harmony is the building block for the society. And the base for the harmony in the family is the harmony within the self of the human being. Because once there is harmony within the human being, then there's automatically no conflict outside, because inside itself you're harmonious. So about being harmony, like about being in harmony within, that becomes the key to unlocking everything, right? You can see that. And being in harmony within could be a slow process, and it may take time also. But if you're able to see where we are and where we want to reach in terms of our basic human aspiration of continuous happiness, then it becomes easy to make a path for that. And also, while we're on that path, we can still make effort for living in harmony, like at the level of the society also, and at the level of the family also. So this can be done even while we are exploring, and while we are trying to be in harmony within ourselves, because all of us are like you know like we're a raw material, right? We're not like the finished product yet. We are also exploring. We are also in that process of trying to understand things. So since we are all in that state, we might as well continue to make effort for our development of understanding. And while we are doing that, we can also try to be in harmony with our family, and then try to do certain things so that we can spread that to the society level. And we'll discuss about that also, about certain kinds of processes and the scope of that. So far, if anybody has any questions or comments also, you can share. And in the chat, you can also write which state is desirable for your family. You can say first, whether it's state 1, 2, or 3. You can write 1, 2, or 3 in the chat. Because one fundamental thing to understand with 1 versus 2 is that in 2, there's no feeling of relationship between the people. It's just that we might be living together, but we don't feel like we are related to each other. And state 1 is where we feel related to everybody. We may not talk to everybody, like in the society when we talk at a large scale, we might not talk to everybody, but then we can still have a feeling that we are related to each other, right? So that feeling may come only when we realize that we are similar to each other. If we feel like we are too different from each other, then it becomes hard to look at the commonality or look at the fact that we are similar at the level of our self. Our body may be different and our opinions and thoughts may be different, but at the level of the self, we can start seeing the similarity. So once we start seeing that similarity, then it becomes easier to feel related to more and more people, and eventually society and the whole nature, the whole existence. So when we look at the human goal, what exactly is the human goal? We can see broadly that we want this continuous happiness and prosperity, but what would be the method for that? And how do we go about to reaching that point? One thing we can see is that the human goal of this continuous happiness and prosperity is something which is innate, right? It's something which is coming from within. It's not something which we have developed over a period of time. It's something which we had from the time we were born also, right? That we want to be happy. It's a basic thing, right? We want to be happy. So how can you be happy? In like without exploring, it might look like there could be many ways, and there are many ways actually. But I'm just saying, like, without exploring, it could look like the happiness is something which you're supposed to get from somewhere, or somebody is supposed to give you something so that you become happy, or you're supposed to get some kind of feeling from the other person and that would make you happy, or something like that. But over a period of time, when you really start looking at things, then you can start seeing that the right understanding and right feeling makes you feel happy. So that's why, like someone was mentioning, right, that when they attend these sessions they feel nice. So why they're feeling nice is because it's giving a certain kind of clarity, and that clarity of understanding, the right understanding, even when we get a glimpse of that right understanding, it makes us feel very happy. Even though it may not be continuous, it's not continuous only because of the fact that we have not reached the end point of that right understanding. We're just beginning our journey, we could say. So as we develop more and more of that right understanding, which we're talking about, it will lead to more and more happiness within ourselves. And that happiness is not something which would go away. It's something which would stay with us. It's kind of like a state which doesn't depend on the external circumstances. It depends on our level of understanding. And as we grow that understanding, it keeps increasing. So it's not dependent on anything outside. So when we look at the harmony in the society, the right understanding and the right feeling would lead to happiness in every individual, right? When we're looking at the society as a collection of individuals, then when we look at what the individuals want, essentially is happiness, right? Happiness and prosperity. And in the family, prosperity is something which would make things work in the family, in the sense that you can run the family when you are prosperous. When you feel prosperous, you will feel like sharing with other people. And when you feel deprived, then even if you have more than enough of physical things, you may still feel deprived. So if you look at our human goal, essentially is to be happy and prosperous, because that would make us feel comfortable. In terms of physical facility also, we want to be comfortable. We want to feel like we have more than enough. And with that feeling that we have more than enough, automatically the feeling of sharing with others starts happening. That starts coming in within us. So this right understanding and right feeling is something which we can have within the self. Like it says in every individual, we can say in every self also, because self is um, the thing which has the scope for understanding and feeling. The body doesn't have it, right? But in terms of the body has some needs of physical facility. So in every family, we are like the human being or family or society, anything, it's a collection of different people, and those different people or human beings have coexistence of self and body. So prosperity in every family means that we are basically able to take care of our body in a comfortable manner, and also we feel like we have more than enough, and therefore we feel like sharing. And when that state is there, then there will be trust in society, as in there will be a state where people are not looking for cheating others, because they feel like they have more than enough. So they feel like giving others because we feel related to each other. And this feeling of being related to each other and giving to others and all that, which we have extra, that comes only with the right understanding and right feeling. Because without that, if there is extra, then there'll be a thing of hoarding. Like there'll be a mindset that we want to hoard it, not to share. We want to accumulate. But when there's a feeling of trust and a feeling of fearlessness and a feeling of prosperity, then and also a feeling of relatedness, which is coming from the right understanding, then there's the scope of things going into that mindset where we want to help others and make everyone reach the same level at which we are, right? So after this, you can also see that if this much is happening in the society, with the right understanding, there will also be this coexistence in nature and existence. In fact, the coexistence in nature is something which is already there. We don't have to create it. It's something which is already there. But since these three things are not in place completely, therefore the balance in nature is also not maintained. But if there is right understanding and right feeling in every individual, then the coexistence in nature is not disturbed, and there is fearlessness or trust in the society, and there is prosperity in every family. So this is like a state in which we want to be. And now we are asking that, are all these four important, or can we leave out anything and still be happy? If our goal is to be happy and prosperous, and we can clearly see that your neighbor's goal is also the same, your friend's goal is also the same, your family goal is also the same, and other families' goal is also the same, then can we leave out this third and fourth? And we also see that nature is important, because without nature, there's no life at all, right? So is it possible to leave out any of these four, or are all four of these required? You can just write in the chat what you think. And if you want to speak also, anybody can speak. Right now only I'm speaking, but uh, anyone who wants to speak or ask a question or comment or say anything about your view on this, you can always share. Yeah, would anyone like to share?
Yes, maybe uh, some of our young fellows or young friends maybe some students or even some of our co-explorers, faculty members can also put forward their sharing or their discussion.
Good evening.
Good
Can you
evening.
hear my voice?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
I am Dr. Arunachalam from Chennai. You have rightly said the relationship between the family, society, and everything to be very perfectly understood through the UHV. For example, if the relationship between the mother and me before the marriage and after the marriage, I have come back. But after the marriage, the distance between the mother and me is larger distance because I concentrate on my family and some selfness will come in that area. After that, I don't say selfishness, but I can also care my family and my wife. The money sharing part is coming in that area is different. So in before that, I concentrate. My mother is thinking of me and my life, how to behave in that area. In case of society, if I come first, I concentrate on my family, then only I think of the society. If I have a larger money, I think of society and everything help to others, everything. But after attending the UHV section, we are ready to help. Money only not make others happy. Even just one help or some other things, we can make the happy. UHV gives a lot of ideas to the students. Nowadays, now artificial intelligence, data science, like machine-like languages, the students are going as a machine part like that. We want to correctly what is the relationship between the mother and father and how to understand each other in the feelings. Then we have to society in the harmony automatically come. We right understanding will come from the students and teacher. And in that area, we have correctly pointed out the UHV section is needed for every university and colleges as a mandatory course. Nowadays, every university, even UGC also concentrate in that part. Similar way, schools also started. The society will give lot of ideas to the peacefulness in that area. This is my view to share here.
Yes, very nice. So the first thing you said about the distance between you and your mother, which increased after the marriage, about that also, you can look at it in two parts. Like one is the feeling that did the feeling also change, or is it just that you're not able to spend as much time? Because if the feeling is the same as before
Yes.
from both sides, then
Yes.
there is a level of understanding which doesn't create any disharmony. So in that case, that part is sorted out. And in the thing that you mentioned about the money sharing or something, that you can just look at what your responsibility would be towards her, and then what she would require in terms of physical facility also, and in terms of these kind of things also, which we are discussing, and therefore help to develop the self also, and the like take care of the responsibilities for the body also of the mother. So that way, with the right feeling from both sides, there's still no issue, because from both sides that level of understanding is there, that you may not be able to spend as much time, but there is no change in the feeling, and that makes both sides more comfortable. So that you can just discuss and sort out. That would be more, it would make you feel also more comfortable, and probably make her also feel more comfortable. And
Yes,
about the
in earlier
students,
we have a joint family. Nowadays, due to job, even husband and the wife also meeting once in a 2 months or like that. The money part behave that area. The distance between the husband wife also make the distance even through WhatsApp or phone only, video call only they are discussing because the money part they make the distance between the gap is very much high. So we can control in this area. Money is secondary part. our relationship between the husband and wife, peacefulness will come in the right understanding way we are thinking, so that gap to be reduced.
Yeah, but that gap which you're talking about is the physical gap, the physical distance.
Yes.
But in terms of the feeling, that
feeling is same. But if I am in the same house in my mother and here, the way of understanding is almost equal. But in case of we make the distance, even once in 3 months we meet here and we purchase something, then she also gives to someone else, then the gap is very much high. That is a feeling I have met in that area.
okay. So you can explore this thing, and you can probably make some programs so that the meeting can be more often, and you can make some changes in the schedule or the things so that that happens also, while maintaining the feeling of being related and the feeling of trust. Then things will go smoothly also.
Thank you. Our 9 feelings
Yeah.
are almost the same, but the reality it's make some gap is there. I feel like that.
Yeah, that is okay. Like as I was saying also, that we are all exploring, and we are all at different levels of that understanding and feeling and all that. So of course we haven't reached that completion point of right understanding. So we are all, like, we can say, work in progress, right? We can say that we are all exploring, and therefore at our current level of understanding we do what we feel is best at that point of time. So that is okay, because that's the best we can do anyway, right?
Yes.
We
Thank
can
you.
keep working on our understanding, and we can keep doing whatever we feel is good to do at that point of time.
Arjun Ansel has raised his hand, student.
Okay.
Yeah, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. And good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Yes, sir. My thoughts on this would be like presently our society and relationships are mostly ruined not just because of this fearlessness, but because of this lacking of right understanding and also the right feeling for one another. Our present society is like give and take policy, sir. If one side is fulfilled, only we shall be receiving the other side. As far as I'm concerned, like this should be changed and modified accordingly, so that the healthy movement of the society and relationship continues in happiness and prosperity, sir. This is what I would like to reflect on this particular statement, sir.
Right. So this fearlessness of or trust in the society is just one aspect which we mentioned here, but of course there are a lot of things uh, which are important, which this is like a compilation of all the smaller, I mean, all the previous things said. This is like a compilation of that. So anyway, the point that you mentioned is interesting, that things are becoming more like a transaction rather than something where we have a feeling of being related, like this give and take, how you mentioned that this give and take is also becoming more like related to money, right? Related to the fact that I'll give you this much money and you give me this much of something, whether it be food or whether it be clothing or gadgets, mobile phone or whatever. So this thing of um, give and take for a exchange kind of a thing, exchanging for money or exchanging for something, that is happening as the priority only because in terms of our understanding, that shift has not happened. Like right now, the understanding for a majority of people, including us also, might be that um, that money is very important because money helps us to do certain things in the world, right? Money helps us to buy things, and with that we're able to do something with it, we also may have a lot of assumptions to do with our self-respect or our things like that being, or our status or whatever, being linked with the amount of physical facility we have, or the amount of fame we have, or the amount of something which we have from outside. So as long as our understanding doesn't develop further, it won't translate into the society. So the key thing that we really need to work on is developing our own understanding. And that way we'll be able to see things in a more holistic way. And that way we'll be able to rightly place the thing about physical facility, about how much is required and how much we have and all that. So that will lead to a feeling of prosperity once we feel like we have more than required. So that would be the transition from this give and take to a feeling of sharing. That will happen when we develop the right understanding and we feel prosperous. Because only if we feel prosperous, we feel like sharing without this give and take kind of a thing, where we're expecting something from the other. Until we have that prosperity, the give is only with the expectation of the take. Without that, the give is also not there. So this, if you're saying that we have to change this, then this is going to change through the right understanding and correctly placing the role of physical facility in our life. Like if you look at our life, our comfort level and all that, it's already very comfortable. So in terms of physical facility, we just need a little bit to sustain that living, what we are living right now. So if we are linking this physical facility with all our other things like status and trying to show that we are bigger than someone else in terms of something, or trying to become more than somebody else in terms of job position, in terms of bigger car, bigger house, to show somebody that we are better, or to show that we are superior to you, then that becomes the block hole, or that becomes the constraint where we start losing perspective of the real value or the real role of physical facility. And that becomes the kind of mindset which makes it like it has to be a give and take, otherwise it won't work. So from that to this, that shift is what we are trying to say is desirable. So the shift from accumulation and hoarding kind of a mindset to prosperity, and with that the sharing will come. And with sharing also, this fearlessness and trust will come, because nobody's trying to get something from the other by unfair means. And along with all this, coexistence in nature will be not disturbed, will be maintained as it's supposed to be, because nature itself is in coexistence. Only because of human beings not having the right understanding, the nature is not in coexistence. I mean, this coexistence is being disturbed, basically. So now we can look at this next question, that if all these four are achieved, then would anything else be required? What do you think? If anyone wants to share also, they can share. One hand is raised, I think.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening to all of you. This is Professor S.N. Das, Satyanarayan Das. The harmony in the society, as we have rightly identified, our goal is, human goal is one. But as per my observations, the electronic gadget and the electronic media, the gradually detaching from each other in the society. we are trying to living in the harmony, but how much we are living in the harmony, I don't know, because the more or less 100% means more or less 100% people are using these mobile phones, electronic gadget, which is cause the isolation in the people. And generally we are using maximum use of mobile phone causes the wastage of valuable time. In that particular time we can also interact with the society, social people. The day by day we are changes toward the technologically we are evolved, but in the same time we are losing our human value somewhere else. I don't know whether I'm correct or not, but as per my observations, when our times we are interacting with the people, when some celebrations, some functions, we are inviting the people, we are visiting that particular place to invite them to attend that particular festival or particular reason. But right now we are not moving to that particular place. Simply we are making a telephone calls. On this particular day you have to attend, that's it. They are also, by providing some causes, they are also not attending that particular festivals or that particular functions. In case of emergency they are attending, otherwise more or less the attachment is completely destroyed. Another important is the wastage of too much money also causes due to this mobile phone the also causes the cyberbullying. As a computer science engineer, I come to know that more or less 20 to 25% of the peoples are caused the cyberbullying due to this mobile phone, and people lose the time for their means destructive way. They are studying due to the more or less young generation peoples. They are lose the time for their study due to the overusing of mobile phone. As for this is which I am not saying, this is one kind of a report of which they have observed, and more or less day by day the more or less so many health hazards are increasing. But one of my professor told that sir, how can we stop all these things? No, professor, thus you have to change, otherwise change will make you change. Again,
basically, actually, if you see, like the technology as such is not an issue.
Sir.
Yeah. So what we can see is that like the technology as such is not an issue. In fact, a lot of things have been simplified with technology, but the issue what you're describing is more to do with not having the right understanding of how to use that technology.
Yes.
So when we are rightly utilizing that technology, then it can be very beneficial for all of us, right? For the people who use it in the right way. But if not, then it becomes more like
every month we are make a means cyber crime aware session in each and every village. You believe me or not, from our university side, we make a campaigning to each and every
yeah. So the point is the same, that when there is clarity within,
the reason you have to be stopped.
Yeah, so it's not about only cyber. It could be like before the internet also, and even now also, crime happens which is offline also, right? Which is live, which is not on the cyber thing. So that has been happening before and continues now also. This is just another channel for that, because this channel is available now, which was not available earlier. But the fact is the same, that if we have the right understanding and right feeling within ourselves, and we feel prosperous, then there's no chance of this thing happening, right? So right now it is more to do with trying to develop our own understanding, and that would have...
It is a challenging task, sir. Whenever I am visiting, means traveling in the train also, each and everyone have the, I am a 2-tier or 3-tier AC, everyone is observing their mobile. They never interact with anyone. If I will try to interact also, they are saying, okay, that's it, nothing else.
Yeah, so it won't be a sudden change. So it may not be a sudden change, but over a period of time, when people start seeing that this addiction to the phone is causing them unhappiness, then at
Yes.
some point of time, they may get the idea that we want to stop doing this. But then since it's an addiction, it becomes hard to stop also. So then, that's the time when you need to start looking at all these other things where you can really see what gives you happiness. And then we have like some proposals over here they can explore and so on. So the more that we are able to observe and see what is going on inside ourselves and what is causing it, the more quickly we'll be able to be more receptive and to take a decision as to what we are to do. So all that is related to developing that clarity and also observing what is happening within ourselves. And when we are able to observe this more and more, when we are able to, when we start looking and we start observing, like at this moment, am I happy or not? And if I say I'm unhappy, then try to think of why I'm unhappy. So at least with this level of observation, if things are started, and you're able to do this from time to time, like every half hour, every 1 hour, or every 10 minutes, then when you start observing and seeing, are you happy? Are you unhappy? And if you are unhappy, then why are you unhappy? If you're able to see this much at least, then whatever task you're doing at that time, you'll say that, okay, I don't want to do this because this is making me unhappy, or this is wasting my time and I want to spend my time on something else. So,
Yes,
so if you're just aware of this from time to time, you can even put an alarm or something to every 10 minutes or every half an hour. So wherever you're getting distracted, you can come back to what you actually wanted to do. So that will make your work also more productive, and the clarity of your thoughts also will be more, because then you'll know what you have to do every 10 minutes or every half an hour. And therefore you won't have time to waste on the mobile phone doing something which you don't want to do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because
So these
in
things
our
can be.
university, some of the students are also there in the CSR activities, sir, corporate social responsibility, as well as NSS team. They are visiting the different houses, different family, different society, and they are interacting with them. They are trying to adopt some villages also, right? And due time, of course, some comments are there from the society. Peoples are there, different type of peoples, because we cannot expect that all the peoples are behave similarly the way we are thinking. But anyway, we are make them understand then what is the objective of this NSS, what is the objective of this corporate social responsibility, why we are providing the helping hand, we are giving you forward, and what we ultimately their expectation is something different. When they are feeling any kind of problem, they immediately rush to you people, sir, help us. In that day you have helped, and right now you have to help. If any problems are going on, they rush to you people and they are trying to ask them, sir, you help us. Anyway, we are trying to help them, and in the meanwhile, we are also give them opportunity to grow themselves.
Right. And during all this also, when we are developing our own understanding also,
exactly,
then it will make our clarity also more, and therefore we'll be able to help them also more as we
yes,
develop our own understanding also.
Yes.
So that will also
Because
happen.
more or less this is a tribal area, sir.
Okay.
Completely tribal area, and the peoples are a tribal people. They are very good, very obedient, as well as very trustworthy. But once they will be not believe on you, they cannot whatever things you will provide them, they cannot trust on you. Once they will trust, whatever maybe you give the information, they will not believe to anyone else. Anyway, we have to win their heart, and with the right understanding, what exactly they're feeling, we need to understand them first. Then only we can suggest them whatever the suggestion we are providing. For plantation, sir, initially whenever we are go for the plantation in that village, they are protect us. But once they will understand that what is the objective of the plantation, what way it will be benefit for them, what way it will be benefit for the society, they try themselves and their plantation means as the way we have planted, more than that they have planted.
Very nice. So yeah, the last
Gee,
question
so
is that are we working for all four, or are we working at any of these levels or none of these levels, or what are we working on? That we can just explore for ourselves. And with that question, I think we'll pause here.
nice, Arjun Bhaiya. Good, and more to say. Just one more to add to the discussion of Satyanarayan Das, sir. That let's first work upon ourselves, isn't it, Arjun?
Yeah, yeah. If we look at it, actually, the whole society is composed of families, and families are living, and
yes,
individuals, and all of us have this faculty of right understanding and right feeling, right? We have a self and body, and we are in coexistence. So in terms of our self, we are all working towards that understanding. But since we don't have the complete clarity or the complete understanding, therefore a lot of things don't happen in the right way, and therefore you can see the results at large at the level of society. So if we are working on our own understanding, then we can do much better at the level of our family, also at the level of society and everywhere else also. But if we are starting with the thing that we are superior and we need to help other people to reach that level, then it becomes like a domination kind of a thing. So what we want to do is we want to develop our understanding also, and at the same time, whatever our level of understanding is, with that level we do something outside without the other person feeling like it's some kind of domination. And the other person can take help from us only when they feel assured that we are trying to help them. So till that point, the other person may not listen to us or may not take help from us. So instead of trying to start by telling the other person what to do, or telling the other person that, that I'm trying to help you, instead of that, if we are able to develop our own understanding, and slowly, the other person, once the other person is assured, once they feel like, yes, we are also trying to make them happy, we are also trying to help them, then the other person becomes receptive to take inputs from you. So again, it's the core comes back to having the right understanding and right feeling within the self. Yeah. So we'll close, I think, no?
Yeah,
right,
we could please.
right, Arjun. And with this note of of understanding harmony in society, and before that, understanding harmony within me and harmony in the family. So with this, we'll keep some of the thoughts open, so that throughout the week, most of our friends and students who are here with us are able to explore the same and come up with their reflections uh, on uh, the proposal which has been shared by Arjun Bhaiya, so that we can keep on doing our self exploration and and reflect on it on coming Wednesday. So with this, thank you so much, Arjun, and thank you so much to all our fellow co-explorers, including our dear students who are also just like one of us, are co-exploring along with us. So we'll continue the session coming Wednesday. Until then, Shubharatri, good night, and let's do more work on ourselves. And thank you, Satyanarayan sir. Would you like to share something more?
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Nice.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you all.
Namaste.
Namaste.